Today we're going to take a look at Kuro playing position 5 Visage in the currently ongoing Beyond Epic tournament in a match between Nigma and Bait.
Lessons that cannot be unlearned.
Welcome to the Church of Obelis. My name is Yon. So Nigma typically play Visage as a position 2 on Weha, but here in this game they're up against a Phantom Lancer who is one of the strongest counters to Visage, and just generally a bit of a hard Visage game. They have Underlord, who does a lot of AoE damage and is a natural Crimson Guard builder. They have Nyx, who is kind of a little bit of a problem with the mana burn and so on. And just generally it's not a very good Visage game, so it makes sense to move him to support. And also just in terms of laning, Visage is actually quite a strong support, especially if you do a tri-lane, which Nigma are going to try to do here in the top lane. So in terms of item builds, if you play Visage as a position 4, what I recommend in my big Visage guide is just to go for Tango, Mango and that Basilius, but as position 5 you have a little bit less gold, so instead just going for a couple of Mangoes and some Region and then getting Bassi later. So they have this tri-lane set up, but they're not yet showing their supports. Both GH and KuroKy are hiding in the trees, ready to ambush whatever hero shows up, but so far no hero is actually showing up. So the enemy team, Bait, they want to actually fix those lanes. They don't want Phantom Lancer to face this tri-lane. Instead, they're just going to put Underlord up here to sort of play the role of the sacrificial sheep, and he's going to walk in this lane and rather be assaulted by all these 3 heroes. Normally you would not skill Grave Shield, rather you want that Soul Assumption level 1, but here in this case it's mostly just about getting enough disable. They have the damage and need the disable, so he's going for that 1 point in Grave Shield at the start. But typically the reason why Visage is so good in tri-lanes is that Soul Assumption. So now Visage has level 2 with Soul Assumption and Grave Chill, now he's really deadly, and they can just very easily run down this Nyx Assassin and get the kill on him. And he's gonna go for that Basilius just to get some much needed mana region for himself and his team. Kuro is rotated to the bottom, he's just doing some pulling here, and they think they can maybe fight against this Phantom Lancer, but in fact it goes down very low, but not quite enough, and of course he can always dodge those Soul Assumptions. So now with Storm Spirit jumping in, this is a disaster, and they have to back up. It's just really difficult to kill that Phantom Lancer. You can just always dodge your stuff, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why Phantom Lancer is so strong against Visage. After respawning, Kuro is back at bottom, he's trying to help out in this fight. Weha is very low, so again the dodge of the Soul Assumption, and Phantom Lancer is going to get away, but Weha also gets saved. So they got the 1 kill on the Enchantress, so a pretty good fight for them, but nothing major happening really. So now Kuro is just doing some light stacking. You just sort of want to find some experience here. You get some experience from the small camp, it's not a lot, but it's experience that would otherwise not be claimed by your cause, so it's always good. And now it's going to head into the mid lane and help out with the fight that's going on there. He has no TP, so he has to walk. And he arrives in this fight, which is looking really good for Nigma. So they claim a bunch of kills. Storm Spirit is almost out of mana. They can chase him down, and with the Emma jumping in, that is a double kill for Miracle. And now Kuro is just going to stick around in this lane for a little bit. The thing about Visage is they just really need to get level 6. So what's often good to do is just let that Visage just have a lane for a little bit, and that's what they're going to do here. But unfortunately though, that Storm Spirit jumps forward and is going to get that kill, but Kuro is not going to let that deter him, and as soon as he respawns, he's just going to go back to mid lane and just try to get some experience here. You want that level 6, which is really going to open up possibilities for you to play around with. And then once you're level 6, you really want that level 12. So Visage is a really mana hungry hero, and that's why he's not really a traditional position 5. So even though he's technically playing position 5 here, Kuro, he's going to play this in a very greedy way, and honestly, even though he's going to buy most of the support items, in terms of playstyle, it's really Kuro is going to play the position 4 and GH is going to play a more sacrificial role. Weeha and GH are smoking in there, and they're going to try to go for a kill on Storm. Of course, Storm can jump away, so it's very difficult to kill to land. Doesn't quite land the hook shot here. He gets a stun actually though, and he pushes him back. So they drag him back. It's almost a kill, but it's not quite enough. So Storm actually survives, but it's very close. It was a good attempt, and especially nice heads up play there from GH to go for that pushback rather than just trying to lock in the Storm, which of course wouldn't work. For the last couple of minutes, Kuro has just been hanging out in the mid lane, just farming the mid lane, farming very carefully though, because he is at position 5, and you can't just play in the same way that a mid Visage would play or any other core hero would play. If you're a support and you hang out in a lane to get experience, you have to play it very carefully. He's just pushing out the wave when it's under his tower. He's not even pushing out now, because he knows that Storm can probably kill him if he goes towards that lane. So he's going to wait for the lane to push in the tower, and then he hits it. And after pushing that wave out, he's just going to chill here in fog, and he's going to just get the experience when creeps die nearby, but he doesn't risk his life. It's a very important thing to do. Don't just go in there and feed. He's ready to hit the tower because now the Batrider is here. But as long as he's alone, he's going to play this very, very carefully. But now with people coming in, they can go for a fight. Visage is quite strong in this stage of the game, and unfortunately Batrider dies kind of out of position. And in these kind of fights, it's very important to watch your own positioning. You want to stay in the back, you want to stay in the fog if possible, you want to keep your birds alive. He's only got 2 levels in Gravekeeper's Cloak, so up to max the Grave Chill, which is kind of unusual, and I'm not sure exactly why. But here in this fight is being run down. He's using his birds as best he can to try to play his way out of here, but it's not going to work, so he's going to die here. But his team are coming in now. He still has 1 bird left, or actually 2 birds left, so he can use those for stuns. He's going to carefully move around here and get the first stun here. Very close though, that was a bit playing with fire. That 1 bird almost died, but he has reached some enemies, so it's okay. So his team come in and managed to clean up. Enchantress manages to get the bounty rune, but she dies for it. So on the whole, a pretty good fight for Nigma, but obviously huge losses on both sides. And Kuro is still playing support. He's still dewarding, he's warding. A couple of minutes later, they're pushing the top tier 2 tower, and meanwhile most of the enemy team are in the bottom. They find this Underlord thanks to GH's flare, and they get the kill here. And meanwhile Bait are trying to, bait at bottom with their Nyx, but no one is taking the bait on Nigma. They're just finishing this tower. Of course the birds have a lot of extra damage here to add in, and when they're glyphing here, they're still protecting the catapult. They're not running away so that these split shots don't hit the catapults. You have to be careful with your burst though. Your aura does not protect against tower shots, so bursts die quite quickly to towers. Kuro has been level 12 now for half a minute or so, and he hasn't yet resummoned his birds, which I think is a mistake. It's important to resummon them early so that the cooldown is up soon. And GH finds another initiation. They're trying to get a kill on that Enchantress, but she manages to limp away on a sliver of HP, and this fight is no longer looking very good. And he still has the level 2 birds available, so now finally summons them. Of course level 2 birds much more stronger than level 1, do twice the damage. So this Phantom Lance is very deep, and he's going to get focused down. In these kinds of fights, it's just important as Visage to not get out of position as long as the fight is close. Kuro is still carrying the Ocean Heart, even though it's 30 minutes into the game and they have much better items available. In particular, that Grove Bow is very strong on Visage, so just get those better items. Stats items are not that strong on Visage. Nigma going for a smoke, trying to find someone, and they see this Phantom Lancer, but it's just an illusion. The real Phantom Lancer manages to escape, and they're really deep right now, and this is not a good fight. So as Visage just want to run here. There's not too much you can do here. It's just basically every man for himself. And that Storm Spirit comes in, and Kuro's trying to somehow save his Necro, but it's very difficult, and honestly I think he should have just run here So they're all gonna die here. And yeah, that advantage that Nigma have accumulated over the last couple of minutes is now evaporating. After that fight, the enemy team went and got Roshan, so now they have Aegis and Cheese, so they're looking for a high ground push. And Dandy is kind of out of position, but with his Yules, he can save himself for now. And of course, as Visage, it's all about positioning here. You want to be on the outsides of the fight and just spam out your W and hit with your birds. Primarily you want to hit the squishier targets, the ranged heroes. So Storm is a good target right now. He's a bit mobile, but it's fine. You can also hit that Nyx assassin if he's in bad position. But other than that, just generally hit whatever is in range and don't commit too deeply, especially with your main hero. And after that one fight, they are able to push high ground here. They would need to be careful though, they don't want to go too deep, but with a nice fishing expedition here, they find this Underlord, and now there's 2 major cores dead, so they can go ahead and take this tier 3 tower and possibly more. No buybacks coming out yet. They're going to use the cliff here. Of course, you want to be careful with your birds. You don't want those birds to tank the cliff shots. So just sit back on the low ground and hit with your birds. And now that the enemy are respawned, you have to be a bit careful. But they still have 1 hero down, so this is fine. They take all the Rexes, and now the game is looking really good. After that Solar Crest, which is a pretty standard item on Visage, Kuro has opted to go for a Crimson Guard. Initially he was thinking about a Hex, but that's a bit ambitious on a position 5. So Crimson Guard, not necessarily the most standard item in Visage, but definitely an item you can buy for your team. And of course here against that Phantom Lancer, this damage block is very strong, so it makes sense. And he's also gone for a Gem, which is a great item on Visage to get if you're ahead in the game, if you're controlling the map, because you can just do really good dewarding with your birds. You can always get vision onto all these high grounds, so with a Gem you can just take down all the enemy vision. Nigma are looking to get something done with their net worth leads, so they have most of the heroes outside the enemy base, sort of forcing the enemy to stay inside, but now Bait want to come and play, and as Kuro you just want to stay back. That is actually too far forward where you're standing here. It's kind of dangerous, but you can get away with it here because the fighters are going so well. So with all these auras and just all the damage that they provide, they're able to win this fight, and now they can sort of threaten high ground, but it's only a position 4 that's dead, so it's not something where you can just bulldoze your way to the high ground. You need to have a bit more finesse here, but the enemy come out to play, so now of course you're gonna go in there and just of course use your Solar Crest whenever it's available, and he's already reached Crimson Guard, and you just want to spam those Solar Assumptions and hit with your birds. He dies here, but that's okay. They're still winning this fight, and some nice stuns here, chain stunning that Phantom Lancer. So now they have 2 heroes dead in the enemy team, and they decide they would just want to end this. There's no buyback on Storm, so they can confidently just go for this push. And Kuro also bought a boost of travel here so they can rejoin the fight, and now they're just going to try to end the game, which they can do quite well. Of course you have these level 3 birds that do a lot of damage against those buildings, and yeah, nice initiation here from Batrider, and now they can just finish the enemy heroes and finish out the game. So this is how you can play position 5 Visage, and really the secret is you're not really playing traditional position 5. you're actually being quite greedy, and you can get away with it if you have a hero like Clockwork as position 4 hero. And GH played really well in this game, got a lot done with very little farm, so this allowed Kuro to play quite greedy, farm quite a lot, and provide a lot of utility to his team. So if you like this video, please share it with a friend. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and ring the bell. So if you want to know more about how to play Visage, I recommend my big Visage guide. So click on that video on the screen right now, and all is willing, I'll see you there.